You are here because the outside world rejects you.
I'm the best there is at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice.
Come on, let's get nuts. This guy's got the right idea. He wore the brown pants.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga!
I made a money.
Come on, Peter Tingle.
Here we go.
What's up? What's up? What up?
Welcome to an all-new Nerdz 2 Men. I'm Brad Reed, Cameo, the nerd of the bunch. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully, if you're listening on the podcasts, check out the videos sometime because
please,
you might see Cameo dancing. You might see some of the stuff I'm about to show off during the show. But I think that everything kind of works. I guess what would it be? Symbiotically? How do you say that? In the way that, if you're, say you're watching this video on Facebook or YouTube, and you don't have time to finish it all, right? You're just like, man, this is probably going to be about an hour or so. So you'd be like, oh, well, I'll just go catch it on the podcast later. Of course, you can watch the videos at any time, too. But say you're like, I got a lot of time when I'm in my car to drive around and listen. That's where you check out our podcast. So you should go to patreon.com/dopepods. And then that way you can get our podcast, the Nerdz to Men podcast. Also, Conformist Peach Cobbler. That's the one I do with Nugget where we talk about horror movies, old and new. And all of those are on patreon.com/dopepods for $1 a month and ad-free, completely ad-free. So
gotta love ad-free stuff.
Yeah, you do. I was just thinking about that the other day, last night, really. Like, man, watching stuff on Hulu and all that, I could never really, go back to watching most of these shows where you have commercials all throughout. You know what I mean?
Right.
I remember being young and watching it when you had the commercial breaks because there was no streaming and just being tortured that you had to wait through all those commercials.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy is that kids these days will never understand what we had to go through.
Yeah.
Having to hurry up to go use the restroom during the commercial break.
Yeah.
Sometimes those breaks weren't long enough. And it's just like, oh man, how am I going to go? I don't want to miss this.
Yeah. Well, in Cameo, you're still a little younger than I. I'm getting older in the tooth, 42 years old. But
hey, you old, homie.
Yeah, I just turned 42 at the end of July. So, but yeah, I remember the, elderly telling me, telling me, their horror stories, of course, about walking, 10 miles to school in the snow. Yeah. Walking Dead. Yeah. But, what if a few generations from now, they're like, yeah, I remember my grandparents talking about them having to fight off zombies. I'd be scared.
Right. That would be crazy.
but again, and you always roll your eyes, you roll your eyes thinking, oh God, all right, y'all had it so
Here's
bad.
That story.
But then of course, every generation that comes after you, you're like, they got it so easy,
Right.
Yeah.
That's just the way of the world though, I guess.
But also I remember too, being in high school and thinking, man, the way that they dressed in the 80s and the 70s was so embarrassing. I'm glad we're nothing like that. And then you see,
Are we, though?
Then you see a video of a guy that's my age still wearing Jinkos. And you're like, why did we wear those? They didn't even look good. They
really didn't.
If you're trying to, I guess smuggle in some narcotics or some weapons or something, I guess, those are the perfect pants. Or, I don't know, people, you're like, hey, jump up in my pants and we're going to go see this movie real quick and you can get out when we get into the theater, that's, other than that, or unless you're Jeff Hardy, I don't know why you would wear Jinkos still. Do you?
I don't know. I really don't know. And what about Ed Hardy?
Ed Hardy goes in the Jinkos. And in fact,
and Affliction.
Yeah.
Let's not forget Affliction.
Yeah, all of those are the Murtaugh rules. Did you watch How I Met Your Mother?
No, I didn't.
Oh, they had the Murtaugh rule, which was if you're too old for that ish, then you shouldn't be wearing it, you know? And so like I remember when me and a buddy, we had gone down to the coast of Texas, the Gulf of Mexico, and he was going to get like a puka shell necklace. And I was like,
a puka.
Yeah. I was like, nah, man, Murtaugh rule. And he's like, you're right. So he didn't get it, but you know.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Patreon.com/dopepods. Get all of our pods that we offer ad-free. Ad-free. And
do that.
You know, they're not, some of them are vintage. Some of them are vintage, but most of them are new, not like Jenkos.
Yeah.
And not like jean shorts, like John Cena, who we're going to talk about later.
Those jorts?
The jorts. Because we're going to talk about the Suicide Squad. So fair warning right now, the reason we're not doing this one live is because there will be spoilers. Can you sing that like, there will...
Spoiler!
No. There will be spoilers.
And there will be spoilers.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. That's the best I can do, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that was the best any of us could do. So,
right. Unless you're Adam Levine.
Yeah. We also got some Pandempicks, which we're sad to say that we're still calling it that. We would love for the pandemic to be over already.
Yeah, but it looks like it's going to start back up again. I
hope it's like I don't mean this to sound bad. I hope it doesn't get bad at all, but I hope if it is, it's like a spike and then back down to normal. You know what I mean?
No, I feel you.
Because I know everybody watching this, no matter how you feel about COVID or the pandemic or vaccines or any of that, I'm sure everybody listening and watching this can agree that we wish this would be over. Over.
Tired, man.
Yeah.
Tired.
Yeah. So, and then, you know, we wish everybody out there watching and listening good health and, you know, good luck, all of that. But it's called Pandempicks because we're stuck at home for the most part, watching whatever we can. So we give you our recommendations of stuff you can, you know, usually watch at home. So that's why we call it Pandempicks. But
Pandemics.
I guess you don't have to like have a big explanation for what nerd updates are, because that's what we're bringing to you right now. Cameo.
That's right.
So the first one we're gonna go with, and all of our topics today really do have like are affected by the pandemic. But on a nicer note, we'll start off with a happier note.
Okay.
Tom Hardy has expressed that he is willing to do whatever. He wants to make it happen. Him and Tom Holland hook up for a movie. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For a Spider-Man movie.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm like, he's still technically a teenager. So
no, he's not. Is he?
Well, in the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, he'll always be a teenager in my mind. No, but like they want to bring Venom and Spider-Man together. And see, I don't know why that's so crazy, because still Marvel is just, well, Spider-Man is just on loan to Marvel, correct?
Yep.
So I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to do for Sony to make their own Spider. Are they not allowed to make a Spider-Man movie during all the, you know, all this time? Is that what's up? I can't, because I know we've gone over this in the past.
I think they can if they want to. It just wouldn't be part of the MCU. Is what I'm thinking.
Which should be fine. That should be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I would say so. I mean, why not? More Spider-Man, the better.
Do you think we'll get the Venom Spider-Man trailer before the Spider-Man Far From Home? Is it Far From Home? No Way Home.
No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home.
Yeah, I think we'll get that before we get the Oh, No Way Home. Sorry, I forgot what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get the Venom Spider-Man trailer before No Way Home trailer for sure. But
yeah.
our faithful listener Chris had sent us something to where Kevin Feige said that he's not going to show. Him and Sony decided not to show the trailer. I don't believe that.
That's what I called. Like, that's what I called last week, right?
That's what. Yeah, we both said that. Yeah.
Yeah. That but see, I love it. I love it because
it surprised me.
Yeah, whatever they've got in store must be pretty awesome, right? That they're trying to keep it that under wraps. They would never get away with that on the Flash set because that's just spoilers galore coming out of there. But I bet there won't be a trailer. I
hope not. I think this will be, as a kid, you might have noticed a trailer here or there and be like, oh, I kind of want to see that. But then, either you're playing outside or doing homework or whatever the case may be. It's like you don't really notice the trailers. But now that you're older, you're like, oh, I want to see what this movie's about. So let's check it out.
Well, on the internet
and I'm totally cool going with no trailer for any movie, really, and just be surprised.
Right. And
like I don't mind like the the promo stuff, like, oh, Spider-Man's in a Burger King commercial. Okay, so hey, make sure you catch Spider-Man No Way Home December 21st or December 17th, 2021. But like I'm cool with. But shoot, don't give me the story. I'm cool with that.
Me too. I mean, of course, this is a movie that's a big enough movie that it's going to be something you want to go watch.
Oh, most
without a trailer,
definitely.
And then also, to your other point, the internet has made the trailer all that much more important because before, like you said, you might catch it on TV or before you go see another movie,
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I watch all the trailers on the internet.
Yeah.
So, and some of those, like when you get a cool Red Band trailer and all that, it's like a cool experience all on its own, like I'm super excited about this new Halloween Kills movie based off the trailer because I wasn't so excited about it after the last movie. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
But,
gotcha.
But again, I feel like with Spider-Man, it's the third movie. Yeah. I feel like there's not a need to give away the story at all, as much as it's been given away already.
Right. So. And that's probably, if that's really true that they're not going to show a trailer for this, then I would say it's due to the fact that we want it so bad, and all the little things that are coming out with little spoilers here and there from Alfred Molina saying that he's coming back. I feel like it's like, well, y'all got enough of what's going to happen in the movie. So,
there was another story that came out about kind of tied into all of this, where the director of the Morbius movie that's about to be released, next year, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
He was talking about how cool it was to look down at the call sheet and see people like Jared Leto, Tom Hardy, and all these people. And so everybody's like, what? Yeah. Wait, what? Tom Hardy? Yeah. So they're, Venom obviously probably going to show up in Morbius. So they're going for a Sinister Six? Is that the tie?
I would think so.
Is that the tie?
Yeah.
Oh, also Michael Keaton coming back. Vulture, right? Yeah, he's supposed to be in it because he mentioned Michael Keaton's name. So, like he might have given away too much information.
Right.
On the Morbius. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, Michael Keaton was in the trailer for Morbius in one of the trailers that they showed. Yeah. So
I need to check them out. I haven't seen the trailers yet.
Yeah, I think it was like one of the first teaser trailers that they put out for Morbius.
Oh, yeah.
And it showed Adrian Toomes, Michael Keaton's character, talking to him. And I forgot what he said to him, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to be in it. So now this could be, something with the whole multiverse that's going on now, to where this might be a different Adrian Toomes and he's still a bad guy.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah. What about Jamie Foxx? Is he supposed to be in this Spider-Man movie, or was he rumored to be in, like, one of the Sony movies coming up again?
No, he's supposed to be in the new Spider-Man movie. He actually broke the news himself. So,
Well, there you go. Well, like I said, I'm cool with not seeing a trailer, but what I'm not cool with is Venom. Got moved back to October. What, October 15th, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
And you know what's sad?
I'm about to check it out.
What is sad about that is not, I mean, and it's all entertainment, so you can't really weight it as hard, like, because we're in a pandemic. So
right,
people are dying and stuff. So I'm not trying to be insensitive, but I was kind of
October 15th.
What worries me is that it might not even be October 15th when it comes out.
It won't be.
It can get delayed again. And go ahead.
And then that's going to push everything else back. So that's what's going to make me upset, because Spider-Man No Way Home is supposed to be here December 17th.
Yeah.
Now, if because this is what they did with Black Widow when it was supposed to come out. Oh, we're going to push it back to the summer. Oh, we're going to push it back to November. Oh, we're going to push it back to March. Oh, we're going to push it back to whenever it came out. Was it July?
Yeah. Even though I have to say that one was years too late.
Right. But I mean, it also too, it took away the excitement for that movie.
Right. Because if you tell me right now that the Batman is getting pushed to later in the fall next year, I'm going to be like, oh, no.
Right.
But again, these things aren't the end of the world. It's just due to the end of the world. No, it's not the end of the world. We'll get through it. All right, Cameo, ready to spoiler it up? Like just spoilers galore? No? Okay.
I'm taking a new turn in life and not trying to spoil anything.
Well, guess what? Too late. It's spoiler time. We're going to...
They all die.
It's funny because when I was watching that, I remembered that was GOG's prediction for every movie. Spoilers,
right?
Everyone dies.
Yep.
And finally, it happened.
Yes.
The Suicide Squad, spoilers. We're hoping that you saw it by now if you're really wanting to see it. Because it came out last week on last Thursday. We're recording this on a Thursday.
Yeah.
And then it was streaming on HBO Max and it was in theaters. So the problem with that is a lot of people watched it at home and a lot of people were able to pirate it and then watch it pirated. And because of this Delta variant spike, there weren't a lot of people that went to the theater to see it.
True.
It definitely did not make in the box office what they would have wanted. Now, I will say, as a person who has grown up loving reading, and watching Siskel and Ebert and listening to reviews of movies, I don't recall them ever basing whether a movie was good or not on a box office. I mean, it helps. Mm-hmm. It helps, and the word of mouth is a lot better, but I don't judge movies on that, is what I'm trying to say. And so I've seen a lot of negative reviews online from people. I've seen a lot of people that loved it, though. And more so than not, people that I actually know, they all loved it. But online, there's the Air Cut people and the Zack Snyder Cut people that are kind of just they're mad because they're not getting what they are wanting, which I understand because I want both of those things. I've said since the first Suicide Squad movie came out that I wanted the version that David Ayer intended, and I said the same about the Zack Snyder thing, with all of his movies, basically.
Yeah.
Since, I guess they didn't really cut him off on Watchmen and Man of Steel, but then after that, Batman vs. Superman, they put that out. It didn't have all of the story, so it didn't make complete sense. Then with the Justice League, we all know what happened there. So I'm just kind of saying to you fans, let's be happy about the Suicide Squad, that we're getting movies like that, and let's get the Zack Snyderverse restored, the Air Cut released. You know what I mean? Like, there's room for all of it.
Right.
Just like in comic books. And let me ask you a question, Cameo.
Okay.
And then we'll really get to the Suicide Squad, because we're kind of talking more about the reaction right now.
Mm-hmm.
But have you ever been made fun of for reading a comic book or liking comic books?
If I did, I don't remember. I kind of think I did.
I mean,
but...
no, and it might not even be that bad, but like, oh, you're a nerd,
Yeah.
So I feel like comic books are a great escape for people like us who maybe have been made fun of or any of that, and it's the actual comic books deal with all kinds of issues, political, acceptance, read the X-Men. But
right.
So I don't understand why the communities, like the DC community and even DC and Marvel to an extent, like turn on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll talk about it. I forgot to tell you on the rundown, what if, but we will talk about that. But like me personally, I'm glad that I can watch the Suicide Squad last week and What If this week. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get to the meat of the movie though. So I thought just overall that...
what you talking about?
I thought overall the movie was great. I loved it.
Yeah, overall, I was super pleased with the movie.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was unpredictable. And just overall a fun movie to watch. There was a certain amount of predictableness I will give to anybody who wants to criticize that. But in that way, you would have to say every comic book movie is probably predictable. Right. And you know what I mean? And people that say that it was so predictable, tell me what was predictable. No, they no, but I mean, yes, some people predicted the people who, the first wave of people that got killed in this movie. We are spoilering it, but I'll kind of keep it vague for maybe somebody who's like, I don't mind spoilers, but I want to still watch it. So, yeah. But there are some hardcore spoilers coming. Let me just put that up. Right. So, but the first wave, yeah, I kind of figured a lot of those people would be. But spoiler, I didn't predict Savant. Because the movie opens with him. Like, and somebody, so he throws his ball and hits a bird. Yeah. A canary. So there's a theory that he was put in prison by the birds of prey. I like that theory. I like that theory too. I don't know if James Gunn seriously intended it, because I know that he started writing the Suicide Squad after Birds of Prey was already, done. And then, like, he had said that he didn't even know Birds of Prey was a thing. The Margot Robbie, told him about some of the stuff, which I thought was funny. But I thought both movies still had like a similar kind of tone, though. Like, they were bright and yeah. So I liked it. But that's just one theory that popped up. There's I've heard a few theories about the movie too. Like one of the characters that we see early on in the movie was the Weasel. And I thought it was kind of odd that he mentions that he's in prison for killing all these kids, right? Well, they talked to James Gunn, and James Gunn was like, the Weasel's probably one of the ones that I really think would be like in there because he's innocent.
Like if all these kids start disappearing on the block, who would they blame? This Weasel character, right?
Yeah.
So he thinks that he might be innocent. And so there's another theory out there that says that the Weasel basically is like a stand-in, whatever, a metaphor for James Gunn and how he was unceremoniously let go from Marvel because of jokes that he had tweeted a long time ago. And now, and we talked about this when it happened.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think those jokes were in good taste.
No, they weren't.
But, you know, I think if you judge a guy by what he is now and he comes out okay, there's nothing wrong with that either.
I feel like, because if I mean, nobody really knows James Gunn unless you're like really close to him. But if you see like his movies, his sense of humor, and I'm not condoning the tweets that he did, because they were in poor taste and they weren't even funny.
Right. Right. And this is back when he worked for the like the people who made Toxic Avenger. I'm blanking on it now. I think it's Trauma or something like that. Yeah. But so, and if you've seen those movies, they're out there. They're extremely gory. The jokes are, right. You might find some of the jokes now in very poor taste. Yeah. But that's kind of the thing that they were going for back then. Now I think things have changed.
Yeah. And, and it's fine that if you want to cancel something, go ahead and cancel it. That is completely fine. Yeah. That's your prerogative. But again, there's still people that are listening to like R. Kelly's music right now.
Well, some people do separate the art from the artist.
Yeah,
I still like Michael Jackson. Kind of.
Well, yeah, he did. I don't believe he did any of that stuff, but
it's not very popular to say that. You know what I mean?
Right, dude. I'll argue all day, every day, that Michael Jackson didn't do that. But again, I can't.
I would hope he didn't for him, for the victims. That like that there were no victims. I hope that's true.
Mm-hmm. And so, but real quick, to go off topic about the whole Michael Jackson thing, if you saw the Surviving Neverland, I feel like that was just trying to get some clout, some type of notoriety, because like we talked about on the phone the other day. Bad publicity is still publicity, no matter how you look at it.
Well, and that's what the thing me and you were talking about was like, I feel like if I got on our Nerdz to Men account and just raged against the machine every day and was like negative and, called people babies for liking the Suicide Squad.
Right.
I would get a lot more clicks because people would want to comment and be like, no, or whatever.
Exactly. Because everybody loves drama. That's what it is.
But I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want to be a part of that.
Right. And so, and going back to, what James Gunn was saying over Twitter, he shouldn't have said that. One, because you're going to piss somebody off. And two, it's like, you're going to be working for a company one day, which he did, Marvel. Yeah. And somebody's going to pull up those tweets or old emails or whatever and be like, look, this is not a good guy. Yeah. Why are you, letting him be a part of, this thing that I love? Do you go to Disney World, right? You go to Disneyland. Walt Disney wasn't a very nice guy.
Right.
So, like people like to pick and choose what they want to do and yet forget that they're still human. And whether he, performed those things on kids, that's a whole different story. If you just talked about it.
Yeah.
Then, I can kind of see your frustration and you being upset.
Yeah, totally.
But, it is what it is. I mean, you can't always hold somebody accountable for. I mean, you can do whatever you want to, but
the punishment needs to fit the crime, though.
Right. Now,
he hasn't been accused of victimizing anyone. If he had been, we'd be having a different conversation right now.
Right. So again, it is what it is.
If you look at DaBaby, he said what he said. He was free to say what he said, but you got to deal with the consequences when you say something like that.
Right.
And same with James Gunn. So
yes, just be prepared. And that goes for anybody.
Yeah.
You talk about somebody's sexual orientation, somebody's race, somebody's eye color, somebody's shoe. I mean, it don't matter. People take certain things.
We can't talk about shoes?
Yeah. If you talk about my shoes and you don't like them.
Oh, I got some.
In your eye.
I'm going to come back with some jokes next time about your shoes.
No, but
yeah,
seriously.
Yeah. I agree.
Going to the extreme and the less extreme, whatever you say to somebody, make sure you don't offend them. Or if you are going to offend them, just
be ready to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So nobody's safe in this world right now when it comes to either accusations or pointing the blame. So just be prepared.
Right.
I've been on the what'd you say? The
receiving end?
The receiving end of, I can't believe you would say something like that.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care, because what I said is what I said, and I believed it. It's my opinion. You don't have to believe it. I don't care.
Well,
but it wasn't anything like
you're referring to the infamous Stan Lee is bigger than Jesus.
No, not bigger than Jesus. No, better than Bush.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding because if you had said that, I would be like, yeah, I guess I could see how people might be. But you said at the time too. At this time, you said Stan Lee was bigger than George Bush. Like he was more popular, more talked about than George Bush.
Yeah.
And I can't remember why you brought up George Bush specifically, but it was for the time that it was.
I think the other people had said, well, what about, George Bush?
Oh.
And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh, so they asked you and you said, man, I can't believe anybody got mad about that. I got one too that like happened to me, but I'll tell it at a different time because I think there will be a more appropriate time to tell it.
Okay.
But yeah, people hear what they want to hear. And listen, if something offends you, I'm not going to criticize you because you got offended. I will criticize how you treat other people based on your offense.
Yeah.
And
real quick too, if we offend you, it's not our intentions or anything like that.
We really do try not to be like that. I want to be as inclusive as possible.
I will say this though. And Brad, if you want to edit it out, you can.
Oh no. Hold on. I'm turning your mic off right now. We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Okay.
All I'm going to say is don't send us a message saying that you'll never listen to us again.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. No need to announce your departure. This isn't a.
Yeah, it's totally fine.
Yeah, it's not Will Rogers Airport,
Yeah, if you don't want to listen to us, that is A-OK, because one, we're doing this for fun and we like talking about this. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
You don't like it? Nah, sorry.
I got one suggestion. If you don't like us, go to our YouTube page and click dislike on every video. Like every video. Please do. Because guess what? It counts as an interaction.
Don't tell them that.
So even when they don't like your video, YouTube likes that they're interacting.
But you still shouldn't have said that because now they won't do that.
Damn it.
But anyways, back on topic.
Yeah, let's get back to
it.
So yeah, but there was definitely people that I did expect to bite it. I just didn't expect for some of these people to bite it as soon as they did. In in mass.
Right.
So there was that.
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
All right. Now, some of my I want to dig into a few of the characters real quick, and and show you some stuff that I got.
Ooh.
All right, we'll talk about Harley Quinn first.
Can I have King Shark?
No, because it's a Build-A-Fig, and I still haven't found Bloodsport yet, which is really pissing me off because I want King Shark really bad. So there's Harley Quinn. I thought Harley in this movie was the best she's ever been.
Agreed.
There was so many elements to her character. There was her being Harley Quinn, jumping on the plane with the sorry I'm late, I had to have a number 2. You know, that was Harley. But then there was like a scene at the end after everything where she's kind of looking like relieved. Like, do you know what I'm talking about on the plane? Like just tired and relieved.
Oh yeah.
And she just looks real genuine in that moment. Not like a comic book character, kind of Harley Quinn, but just real genuine. Because if you think about it, in the first Suicide Squad, which this isn't technically a sequel, but it is because it involves, you know, some of the same characters. But just overall, her character arc in the first Suicide Squad movie, she has to deal with the fact that she is pretty dangerous. And a lot of people don't really like her. And even with the Joker, like that's not even going that great. Then you get to Birds of Prey, where she is not with the Joker. And so she's coming into her own, but she's still considered an asshole by all the other characters. And she kind of has to get to that point too, to where she's not. And then in this movie, they've established that she's friends with some of these characters, that they've been on some more missions together. And I just feel like this is the most free and I guess comfortable with herself the character of Harley Quinn has been in the movies. My opinion. I thought it was kind of a beautiful transformation. And then there was like that scene where she's fighting her way out of this place she's being held. And it was great. Like that was one of those that will go down as a classic sequence in a comic book.
Yeah, that was shot beautifully too.
Yeah, it was. And then when she does, and the team's like there to rescue her, that was just a funny, great scene. Like, but she felt so heartfelt throughout the movie, I thought.
Yeah,
like she does. Yeah, she doesn't want to be disliked. You know, what I mean?
Right. It did seem that she was trying to turn over a new leaf, in the sense that she didn't, like you said, didn't want to be the butthole of the group, and you know, with the scene with the Presidente, it was like you know, she said, I told myself if I was to ever, you know, fall for somebody that was, you know, or look for the red flags, if I, you know, while I was falling in love with somebody, to look for the red flags. And, you know, her saying, you know, killing kids, which Joker didn't mind killing kids at all. So it was like, you know, that's a huge red flag. So it seems like she's, you know, turning over a new leaf, at least, you know, the James Gunn version of Harley Quinn. And you kind of saw that in Birds of Prey too, just a little bit. But
is that a reference to Joker killing Robin then?
I don't know. That's what I thought when I first saw the movie. So it could have been, you know, might have not have been.
Well, because, you know, like one of the main contentions everybody has is this isn't in the Snyderverse necessarily. And but in the Snyderverse, Joker has already killed Robin, but it wasn't Tim Drake. No, not Tim.
Right.
Yeah, Tim Drake.
Jason Todd.
Yeah. It wasn't Jason Todd. It was homeboy from Titans.
Dick Grayson.
Yeah, Dick Grayson. Yeah. So
sorry, I couldn't think of it.
That would have been like the twist had that ever come to fruition, I guess. according to what I've read about Zack Snyder. So yeah, Harley Quinn was great. I think she was awesome. I thought Margot Robbie is awesome. She is just as iconic in her character to me as Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, or Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. Go down the list of those. So I thought she was great.
Sir Patrick Stewart, as
Yeah.
Charles Xavier.
So she's going to get another movie, and rumor has it that the Gotham City Sirens that ended up, I think, turning into Birds of Prey is going to be resurrected. So I think
oh, sweet.
You know, I would assume that's probably a sequel to Birds of Prey, and I'm for it because me and you both loved Birds of Prey. I think, right? Yeah. Because I remember we both loved Ewan McGregor. I watched it again the other day. I watched Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and the Suicide Squad. And again,
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
Again, the Suicide Squad, the James Gunn version, is the superior out of those three. But I do recommend, if you haven't given Birds of Prey a chance, go watch it. Did
you? The funny thing about the title is that James Gunn joked to WB that was the title. Mm-hmm. Like he was like, yeah, the Suicide Squad sequel is going to be called The Suicide Squad. And he used that as a joke. And then WB was like, we love it. Yeah. We're going to use it.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool.
All right. So another character I loved, and to be honest, Cameo, I did not expect to ever be buying an action figure of this guy. John Cena.
I can't see him.
Exactly. But yeah, this is the Peacemaker, which Cameo, I am hoping, and I know this might, I don't know. I'm hoping they put out one with him and his tidy whities.
Don't be racist. Don't be racist.
that interaction, like his rivalry with Bloodsport was awesome. Like that was so fun.
That was the epitome of a peeing contest.
Exactly.
Like it was.
Yeah.
Because it was hilarious.
When they, and again, spoilers, when they go to rescue Rick Flag, and because they consider themselves like when Bloodsport meets Peacemaker, he asks, why is he part of the group? Because he only does what I can do. And of course, Peacemaker's like, well, I do it better, and blah, blah, blah. And so that started the whole rivalry.
Yeah.
Well, their rivalry takes them, they're trying to rescue Rick Flag, who's been taken by the people of, what was the name of that? Corto Maltese.
Corto, yeah.
That was just, I heard one of the guys who was there that was, I don't know if they were Hispanic or what you would, Latino, what you would label them, but that's how he pronounced it, Corto Maltese. And I was like, well, that is how you would pronounce it. But anyway, most people call it Corto Maltese, which is a made up place. But I forgot where I was going with all that. So they were going to rescue Rick Flag. Well, as they are having their little peeing contest, they end up demolishing this whole village, like killing everyone. But but the joke is, what they don't realize as they're too engulfed in their little rivalry is like they're killing people that are innocent people. Like one lady's taking a bath. One guy comes to the door with only his shirt on, with no pants, no pantaloons, nothing. And no threats. Like they don't look like threats at all, but they're just like pam, 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 like behind the back shot, bam, bam.
Yeah.
And they go to find Rick Flag and they realize, man, they just took out this whole freedom fighter squad that would have been on their side.
Yeah. But
I thought, which is sad and tragic, but hilarious in the scope of this movie.
Right.
Yeah. But John Cena as Peacemaker, if you didn't watch the movie, you'll probably know that he lives somehow because he's getting an HBO Max spinoff. And so, it does appear that he gets killed in the movie. You watch the extra scenes and he makes it. So, and if you've been following Twitter, the Peacemaker character has been tweeting, and so if you haven't figured that out, then I'm sorry that we spoiled it, but
spoilered.
we did say we're spoilering everything. So but John Cena was hilarious.
Yeah.
Also, go ahead.
I was going to say, there have been some, people that didn't like John Cena's portrayal of Peacemaker. I don't know anything about the character.
Me either.
So I can't, tell you one way or the other, but I did thoroughly enjoy his character. I mean, him doing anything for America is quite
for
hilarious.
Freedom, for liberty. Yeah,
for liberty. Yeah. Like, I mean, if you want to,
if he's got to kill every man, woman, and child for liberty or for peace, he'll do it.
Yeah, right. Or beach full of appendages, he would eat them. If that meant peace and liberty.
Like, it was funny. Like, I really enjoyed John Cena, and I have enjoyed John Cena's movies. I wasn't a fan of him as a wrestler, but now I'm even, when I watch him and he shows up, I am in awe about how big of a star he is, because people don't go as crazy for all the other current wrestlers as they do when John Cena shows up. They just don't.
Yeah. And I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt for this, because John Cena actually came to Oklahoma at least one time that I know about. And it was right when I was working with the radio station. They were doing a rock, paper, scissors contest.
Oh,
and you had to be,
I was there.
Yeah. I'm upset that I never got a photo
John Cena. I forgot. I met John Cena. Holy crap. I forgot. But I wasn't like a huge fan at that time. But because I had to work it. I was in promotions.
Right. Yeah, I was there. So it was just like, man, I'm kind of upset that I never got a photo with them. And, but I did get to meet him and whatnot. So it's kind of cool seeing him from the beginning and to see where he's at now.
I totally forgot. And in fact, I think somebody did have a picture at some point, but I don't remember where it went. But I totally forgot I met John Cena.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for reminding me, Cameo. I'll see you again someday, Peacemaker. in your tidy whities.
So racist, man.
That was so funny. Okay, so here is maybe my most favorite character of the whole movie. Probably not everybody else's, but one of my most favorite characters of the whole movie.
Polka Dot Man.
You got it. Because Polka Dot Man. He he was so tragic throughout the whole movie. Like, he's sitting there in the beginning while they're telling him, and I can't remember, was he in prison already, or did they just bring him into it? Okay.
No, he was in prison.
See, I don't remember. Did they say what he was in prison for?
I think he killed his mom.
Ooh,
I think.
Like, I knew, obviously he was obsessed with his mom, because we see throughout the movie that, like, in order to kill people, he envisions his mom.
Yeah.
And then hilariously, it shows him doing that, which was fantastic. I loved it.
When there was two times it got me. Obviously, the first one where he was saying, when he was telling the crew, that was his deal, that he sees his mom everywhere. And then it pans over to them, and each of them are like his mom.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
And then the fight.
And then Starro.
Yeah.
Starro. When Starro turned into his mom, I was just
my gosh. But like, just visually, I loved how they did the polka dots on him, and they're shining and all of that. He just looked cool. But David Dasmalchian, or do you know? Have you heard his name said, Dasmalchian? No. Or I'm probably messing it all up, but he's great. I love him.
Yeah.
He was. Of course, I deal with a lot of depression stuff too, and so like I thought that his character, like, I kind of related to him, But and I thought it was cool. Like, well, not cool, but at the beginning, he was suicidal. He wanted to be on this squad. He was hoping that he bit it.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the very end, like, he was accepted by his friends. He had even met somebody, even though that didn't go so great. And then his last words were, "I'm a superhero." Like, he wanted to be a superhero. He didn't want to be a villain.
Yeah.
And then when you find out I don't even know why he'd be in prison if he killed his mom, because what she did to him and what she did to his brothers and sisters, and some of them didn't make it. Some of them didn't live through it. I don't know. I think that if that was the reason, if that was the exact reason, because I would like to see if that's like an extra or if it's out there or something, like their actual records. I'm
gonna watch it again and see what it, because I want to say that he killed his mother, but I'm not 100% sure.
I would believe that. I just can't remember exactly. And I've seen it twice. Yeah. And let me just say, this is one of the most rewatchable of the DC EU movies that have come out since The Dark Knight, in my opinion, and probably yours.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
But yeah, so, and some people said that they were kind of mad at the way Polka Dot Man went out. I thought it was great. I thought it was
I think it was great too. I thought that he died happy,
right? Right,
and unexpectedly.
Yeah.
So it's you can't really fault James Gunn vision of him dying, because he was there for a reason, and he fulfilled his mission.
Right.
Like you said at the very beginning, which I didn't catch, is that he was suicidal.
Because when Bloodsport goes, "Oh, we're all gonna die" or something, he goes, "I hope so."
Oh, yeah. That's right. Okay, yeah. So he was on a suicide mission, because obviously, going up against a huge starfish, that's pretty suicidal, even though you have these like acidic polka dots that can,
kill you,
burn somebody. So,
which
kill you.
Does kind of beg the question, if he was real suicidal, why did he spit out the polka dots every day? Why didn't he just let that take him? A question for another day.
I was gonna say, it probably doesn't hurt him,
Yeah. Like, Jerry Bennett asked me one time, a long time ago, because I'm diabetic, right? And this was probably like when I was 20. He was like, "You take shots every day, right?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Because you want to live and stuff. You want to be healthy, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Why do you smoke cigarettes?" And I was like, good question. And of course, I've quit smoking
it's my American right.
Yeah. It's like been over 10 years I quit, but like I was like kind of like good observation, Jerry. But yeah. So Polka Dot Man, tragic character, died tragically, but happy. So like I loved that. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if he had lived, I would have been happy with that too. So I don't have Bloodsport yet, which means I don't have King Shark all the way. So we'll talk about King Shark for a second. I really like every time King Shark shows up in The Flash, I'm kind of like, ugh, I don't really like him. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But in this movie, I really liked him. I thought he was a really good, and another, like Polka Dot Man, he's another character that's kind of at odds with himself. And he sees people out there living a life, and they're in love, and he's in there trying to act like he's smart enough to read a book, and the book's upside down. So
right, according to Nawe.
I know, but you have so much sympathy for him, right? Even when he's trying to eat people.
Right.
Num.
Num.
But just like definitely, you had no choice but to feel a little bit of sympathy for King Shark, and I loved it.
Yeah,
I really thought. Like, he was great. That's why I gotta get all these Build-A-Figures, because I really gotta have King Shark. But I also, I do want the Bloodsport one too, because I thought Idris Elba, man, like his acting in it was great.
Yeah.
His character, I loved his character. And like it was brutal too, because like at the beginning, like when he's being recruited by Amanda Waller, who was also even more evil in this movie, and I loved it. But he was being recruited, and they used his daughter against him.
Mm-hmm.
And when he goes to talk to his daughter, it's almost like, oh, y'all made the wrong choice, because he's having a shouting match with her where they're saying F you, F you, F you back and forth to each other. Like, you're like, dang, that's how he treats his daughter. But you realize he's doing it as like how this is a bad example. And I'm not excusing how he treated his daughter, but it was like when you're trying to get a dog to go away, and like the phrase is throwing rocks at a dog. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
But that's not even the best phrase, because I think he was doing it out of love for her. He says, "Oh, right. I was stuck with you," and yada yada yada. But I think he really genuinely wants her to have a better life than he had, and doesn't want her to think he's good in any way.
Right, right.
And so that's why he's doing it. And deep down, that may come from some kind of love, even if that still feels like a weird, bad, not good kind of love. But he's admitting he's a bad person. He's a bad guy, he's not ashamed of that, really. But out of love, he doesn't want her to be like that.
Right.
So you're able to see how he's a badass, but that deep down he has feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Which later, his relationship with Ratcatcher too, really kind of bears that out too, because, and I loved her character as well. I thought, man, all the characters were great. I thought throughout the whole movie they were interesting, and I really enjoyed them. But like Ratcatcher too, she was very good. But I would be in the same boat with him, because I really don't like rats.
Yeah.
But I thought it was a touching moment too at the end, where like the rats kind of are all over him, and she puts her hand on his shoulder to like reassure him, And then at the very, very end, there's a scene where he embraces the rat on the plane as they're going home. But the look on his face when he realizes that rat is sitting on his leg, that's where I'm talking about. That it's just a subtle thing, but it was so believable. Like he was just like, "Oh my God, this thing is on me." And then to see him kind of crack, it was a really good moment. I loved Idris Elba. Some people were also criticizing the fact that when he was shooting his gun at the Starro, who is a huge kaiju starfish, we got a freaking kaiju in this shit. Which is also the guy who plays King Shark. I know Sylvester Stallone voiced King Shark, but that guy
he was the body motion.
Yeah, he was and James Gunn's brother was the Weasel and Calendar Man.
Yeah.
Which was a lot different. Well, yeah, not in this, but he was a lot different Calendar Man than we just saw in the Long Halloween movie. That's for sure. When he yells at Polka Dot Man.
And Polka Dot Man was the voice of Calendar Man in the Long Halloween. So it was just like,
that's great.
What?
That's also what I love about the guy who plays Polka Dot Man. He's in all these things, and Marvel, DC, Gotham, I love him.
Yeah, I saw a meme saying that he's the key to the multiverse.
Yeah, for sure. Because he was in The Dark Knight as one of the Joker's henchmen kind of guy. Yeah. But oh man, so they were saying, well, Bloodsport couldn't be all that much of a marksman if he couldn't even shoot the Starro in his eye, where he'd be the most vulnerable. And I'm like, well, they didn't ever say, I mean, he's not Deadshot. They never said he was like a marksman, did they?
Well, I mean,
he shoots the one bullet that like was pretty impressive, but what they said was anything in his hand makes him lethal.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So he's probably a decent enough marksman.
And the thing is, excuse me. I don't think he was trying to kill him right then and there. I think he was trying to distract him from tearing down that building.
Yeah, I think you might be to get him to come that way. Yeah, I agree with you there too. I agree with that.
And again, who's to say that human bullets are,
right,
that would hurt him? Now, Harley Quinn with that javelin, maybe, I don't know. It looked like a pretty sharp javelin. I don't know if that javelin was like some Uru metal or,
no, I don't think so. Cause like, didn't the rats come in too at the same time? Or
they came through the opening.
Did she pierce it first? Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, I think that there is something to the javelin. I don't know much about that character.
Me neither.
But so. I do think, one thing going back to, I don't know if it's in the comics, if it's true. I heard that Peacemaker, his helmet, traps souls of people that have died or whatever. And which is very much like Katana. So I don't really know if that's even true, but I thought the helmet was great too, because there's a scene in the movie that with the helmet, I'll just leave it at, I'll leave that one vague, but it's a great, oh my gosh. It's like, to me, and it's very quick, but it's like as iconic as like the stairway scene, maybe with Daredevil or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, so Bloodsport, like overall, I loved him too. Idris Elba, like he can't really do any wrong, right?
No, and he also said too, because why he was in prison was because he shot Superman.
Yeah,
Idris Elba said that he would love to explore that. Like he would love to do that movie.
Me too.
If that was ever an option.
I'd love to do that movie with him. No, I would love for him to do that movie because that would be awesome. Yeah. Because he shot him with a kryptonite bullet.
Kryptonite bullet, yeah.
Yeah, so that was pretty dope. But so Rick Flag, I thought was a very much improvement from the Joel Kinnaman from the first movie, from the first Suicide Squad, and he was a little more, I felt like, lighthearted. He wasn't being so antagonistic towards the team. He was part of the team this time.
Yeah, he was. I saw him on, I think, like Good Morning America or one of those shows. And because you don't really see him in a comedic role. Right. And not so much this was a comedic role or anything, but he had some funny parts. And so he was saying how hard it was to drop those lines, because comedy is all about timing. Sure. And he did that pretty well. Now, was he, did it seem uncomfortable for him? I kind of felt that way, but it also could have just been his character too. I think it was his character, to be honest, because he's kind of, his character is kind of dry. Yeah. But I liked him. I thought in this one, and I thought even his acting was better in this movie. Yeah. His confrontation at the end, man, I was moved, and I didn't even like that guy. Before, so. Which was unpredictable. Yeah. Anything, so I guess, Thinker, oh my gosh. He had some of the craziest lines. Like, Ratcatcher asks him if he, threatens him with putting her rats up his booty. And he's like, don't threaten me with a good time. Basically. And then, but there was a really, oh man, they're in the lab and he's in his lab, and you're seeing how Starro has basically released these little starfish that kill the people and zombify them, basically. He's controlling them through the starfish on their face. But they're dead underneath that. So when the people talk to him, it's starfish, or it's Starro talking through them. Yeah. And one of them says, "Oh, he's hurt us, he's beat us, he's taking advantage of us," or something he's had some hanky panky with Starro, which wasn't good. But his look on his face is I've been outed, but right. Okay.
But I really enjoyed that. I'm trying to remember the thinker's name. Peter Capaldi or
I don't know.
He was like in Doctor Who. He was one of the doctors. Man, I hate to mess up his name because he was a big part of it. But yeah, I think it is Peter Capaldi. But I could be wrong about that. But I just liked his look. I liked those things in his head. They were cool. They were colorful. You know, it was a good.
Yeah,
I like the colors in this movie.
Yeah, because I believe that was how he looked originally in the show or in the comics.
Yeah. And it was cool, like when they showed like a flashback and he didn't have as many, and then he's had more added as he's gone. It was just, I liked it. I thought he was a cool addition.
Yeah.
So, and then again, like to kind of wrap up all the characters, Amanda Waller, she's the one running things, and she plays everybody against each other, but like her viciousness really, really came out in this movie.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed that. Viola Davis.
Yeah. Viola Davis was amazing. I was not expecting her to get knocked upside the head with a golf club.
I loved it. I loved it.
Also unpredictable.
Yeah, it was.
But I felt like that was something that was needed. And it might have knocked some sense into her. But we'll see, next time she shows up. I doubt it.
Yeah. But see that one dude that I told you, he was like her tech guy, and he also played King Shark. He's going to be in the Peacemaker movie or show too. Yeah. So apparently he's still involved somehow. Yeah. So overall, I want to say that I loved the Suicide Squad movie. I don't know if I place it number one in the DCEU movies of late, but it's in contention because I've watched it 2 times. I want to watch it again.
Yeah. I will say this though, real quick, to go back to the movie before we, give our final thoughts on it. Like I really felt Starro's last line. I forgot how he actually, or she, whatever Starro is, said basically, he was like, basically, y'all the one that brought me here. I was fine just looking at the stars.
Yeah.
And I was just like, man.
Yeah.
And that's the sad, this is going way, way too deep into it. But I know it wasn't, anything. It probably wasn't really, regarding what I'm about to say, but it's kind of like, we as humans, we want to take things out of their habitat.
Yeah.
And ruin them and then expect them to be okay with it.
Yeah.
So like, we're taking, wildlife, some for good reasons to protect them, whatever. But it's like, if y'all would have left, me alone, I would have never done this. Like, I was cool just floating in space.
Yeah.
But y'all had to come at me. And that's not what I wanted.
It's like a version of supremacy because you think you're higher up, and you just, that these people, this alien or, however you want to, like, animals, whatever, however you want to apply it, because it can be applied to multiple things. Yeah. But you feel that your power is above their agency.
Right.
And so I don't think you're looking too deep into that. I think James Gunn wanted you to be honest. And I thought that was a great line as well. Like, man, y'all caused this and now I'm paying for it,
Right. I have to die because you brought me here.
Yeah.
And basically molested me and,
right. Now
did all these things to me.
Now, some people might be watching or listening at home and they might be saying to themselves, it's a giant starfish? That's stupid. Well, let me just say that if I had called you Cameo before Guardians of the Galaxy came out and before you had seen it and said, and you were like, hey, how was it? And I said, it's good. It ended with a dance off. what would be your thoughts? Right, just off the top of your head.
Off the top, being a dancer, I'd be like, that's cool.
Okay.
I gotta go see what this is about. But just saying that, oh man, I don't think I want to go see that. I don't think I want to see that.
Yeah, I kind of thought when I asked you that, I was like, well, he is a dancer, so he'd be like, yeah. Let's loose it up.
Right.
But at the same time, if you weren't a dancer, I think you would think that sounds a little dumb. But then when you see it happen on the big screen or little screen, however, in the course of the movie, it isn't dumb. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. So, and he was about that life. So
yeah.
I mean,
and so same thing with this. James Gunn takes something that on the surface sounds ridiculous, but gives it a little depth and makes it kind of cool. I thought.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah.
So I give it all the crying Kevin Smiths. Like everyone that I can find, I give it to him because
I give them to him too.
I loved it. All right, let's talk. We won't be too long on this because we'll keep it really kind of not so much spoilers, even though I've got a spoiler warning on here. But let's talk about What If, which debuted this week on Disney Plus. And everybody should know by this point that in this What If, it's Peggy Carter. Like, what if she becomes Captain America, or whatever? What is she actually? She's Captain.
She would technically be Captain Britain, but I think they're saving that
Captain Carter, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I think they're saving that for the actual Captain Britain that will probably pop up sometime.
Right. So in this one, she through the course of the show, through events, ends up being the one becoming getting the super serum, and Steve Rogers doesn't. So other than what I would like to say about this was I loved the whole story, and I'm not even a Captain America guy. I just kind of think whether it's Captain America as a character or the way that Chris Evans plays him or both, I don't like Captain America because I think that even though you're a good guy and a nice guy, you can still be kind of a D-bag. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think he is a little bit. So I've never been big on Captain America, but this was thoroughly entertaining. I really liked the animation style. I thought it kind of reminded me of a more grown-up animation style and something that you might see more along the lines of how we love the DC animated movies. This one I thought I really enjoyed the animation style and I enjoyed the story. And if you're thinking, oh well, it's on Disney Plus, it's animated, it's probably more for kids. I don't really think so. There was some there wasn't any cursing or nothing like that, but there was some it was pretty brutal. Some violence.
It was pretty brutal.
Yeah. Which I enjoyed. So
yeah, it was good. I felt the same way about it. I'm not a huge Captain America fan. So seeing Peggy Carter come back and take over the mantle, I'm like, I don't really care. But since it is tied into the MCU, I care a lot. And I really enjoyed it. I mean, whether I like, a certain character, that I usually put that aside, or if I don't like a character, but I am, a fan of the series or, whatever, I usually put that aside because as a Marvel fan, there are several characters that I do not like in the Marvel comics or in the Marvel universe. So it is what it is. But it's a Marvel thing. I love it. But I do like the What If series and can't wait to see, T'Challa as Star-Lord.
Yeah. Is that one next?
That's what I heard, but I'm not 100% sure.
I'm excited about the Spider-Man one too, because apparently
he's a zombie hunter.
Yeah, and the Marvel guys turn into zombies, which I saw some of the Funko Pops today and it looks like, I don't know if it's going to be in this show though, but it could be crazy. But I saw Gambit as a zombie. But I don't know if those are tied into the show or not. But they were like
probably not.
The Marvel. They had a MODOK zombie.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Which, by the way, we never really finished talking about it. But if you haven't seen MODOK on Hulu, go watch it because I really loved it.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. Patton Oswalt was great. I enjoyed it. So a lot of great actors in that one too. So check that one out. But so the next one is T'Challa.
That's what I think.
Awesome. Now, the Spider-Man one, though, going back to that, I did hear them say that two things. First, they weren't even sure if they were going to be able to use Spider-Man. They were just like, let's write it and see what we can get away with it.
Yeah.
And then secondly, I guess they apparently were going to do one where Peter Parker turns into an actual spider. And they were saying like it would be kind of like a body horror type thing, but it was too dark. And they decided against that. So I was like, man, I kind of want to see that too.
Right.
But again, I recommend it. I think it was really good. And even the fact that I don't like Captain America, I think played perfectly into this because he's not Captain America.
Right.
And your meme that you put on our Facebook page, everybody needs to go check it out. Captain Carter asking if Steve Rogers, is it Steve Rogers, right? I always get him and Wonder Woman, Steve, all mixed up. But
Steve Trevor.
Yeah, but Steve Rogers, she's like, does he have a nephew? Like, oh, come on now.
I loved
funny.
it.
I
loved it.
All right, before we get out of here, Cameo, we got some Pandempicks, and the first one that we're going to talk about, we universally love. It's on Hulu. It just came out last week. I believe more episodes come out every Monday.
No, it came out on Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, if you are listening to this and it's next week, it came out last week.
Let's say it like that.
Yeah. Earlier this week.
Yeah, earlier this week. But more episode. I think the first two came out. I think maybe we just get one next week, but they come out on Mondays. Reservation Dogs. And
love it.
Yeah, it is awesome for many reasons. But I mean, being from Oklahoma, kind of, I don't know. I feel like it was even better because. Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say exactly. Being from Oklahoma, and two, now I didn't grow up, doing
with the culture,
with the culture, yeah.
Same with me.
So it's kind of cool because I remember going to the Indian clinic. Now it wasn't as crazy as, and I wouldn't say what they showed was crazy, but there was no kids, out there doing their thing. And I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I mean, it brought back memories going back to the Indian clinic. Yeah. So I mean, overall, it's a funny show.
Sterling Harjo, he's from Tulsa. He's made a few movies. He got with Taika Waititi. And they decided because he's native Maoran from New Zealand. Dude. Yeah. So I listened to an interview with Sterling today on Mark Maron's podcast, which I was grateful for because I wanted to hear like his thoughts on everything. But he was talking about how like Native American culture and the Native Maoran cultures have a lot of similarities, and that's him and Taika bonded on that a lot. But man, it's so good because I've seen how like somebody describe it as like they're letting you in on the joke instead of the joke being on them, on Native Americans. And so like, they're saying, hey, we have genuine comedy, like where people are, our people are funny too. And then there's tragedy in the show and everything in between. You see what I mean? Which I thought gives it a real air of realism to see, it's not too out there to where, and it's not stereotypical. It's just them being who they are, and finally having the freedom to represent themselves how they are.
Right.
And I agree with you, because here's the thing. I'm like almost a quarter Caddo.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't even know that till a few years ago when I found one of my relatives. But but growing up, I knew I was Native American. My mom told me that, but we didn't know, what tribe and all that. So come to find out, like I'm almost a quarter Caddo, but I wasn't raised in the culture either. So like I can't, in a way, I can say I am Native American in, my heritage, but I'm not Native American in the fact that like I don't know anything other than what I've studied in school and stuff about the culture. And I have other relatives who are Native American, and I know from their grandparents and stuff some things, but I wasn't raised that way. And in fact, I think me and you should submit a show idea called Native-ish, where we're native but we were raised by a bunch of white people, which is the exact thing I said on a morning show that I was part of, and I got in trouble for that. That's what I was talking about earlier in the show. Like, well, I didn't get in trouble, but my PD, who was a douche, he came in and was like, "Did you say something about white people?" And I was like, "Yeah, I said that I didn't know," because my co-host was asking me about Native American culture, but I didn't have the answers, and I didn't want to try to answer it because I'm not qualified on that. And so that's what I told him. I was like, I didn't grow up in the culture. I was raised by a bunch of white people, which is true. And I didn't even say it like bad, because I love those white people. They're my family. My mom, my grandma, I love them. So, that wasn't.
All I heard was I'm white and I'm racist.
Yeah, I didn't say anything about whitey tidies or nothing.
See, there you go. Just racist.
But yeah, this guy, he had called in to complain. And so me and him kind of went at it one day on Facebook about like Indigenous Peoples Day. He was so mad that at the idea that we would change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. And I was like, well, whatever. Like, whatever. You can have your opinion, but I don't respect it and I don't care. And he was like, well, you should respect it because my people came in the land run and we've owned land here since da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, wow. And that's the last conversation I ever want to have with you.
But how did your people come over here? Like,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And let's talk about like in my Native-ish show, like let's show a young Brad Reed who has to take part in the land run celebration every year. They didn't tell you the truth about any of that. Right. Like how many other little Native American kids had to be subjected through that? And like I said, I wasn't raised in the culture, but there's definitely some racist stuff that has been said to me about being Native American, and I don't even want to repeat it, but here's one that wasn't so bad. In the 7th grade, I'm in a history class, and our teacher's like, teaching about Native Americans. And it's like, is anybody in the class Native American? I'm like, yeah. She's like, no, you can't be. She's like, you have a small nose and your cheekbones aren't. And I was like, wow. Like, if she said that in this day and age, she'd have got fired.
Right. She probably still would have if you would have. Did you say something?
No, because that's the thing is like, I feel like, and again, don't let me speak for Native Americans who grew up in the culture, but I feel like sometimes Native Americans feel marginalized where they can't speak out against it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have teams that are just now in 2021 changing their names from names that not all, but some Native Americans find offensive.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't see names like that with other races necessarily. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I would love to see the Kansas City Rednecks.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. I did see somebody that had printed up, like, because it was the Cleveland Indians, now it's the Cleveland Guardians. But there's a famous shirt that goes around like the Cleveland Caucasians. And I swear white people were mad about it. And I'm like,
I mean, it's funny how. Actually, I don't want to get into it.
Yeah, we could talk about it a long time.
Yeah. But anyways,
but if you want to hear a lot more about it from somebody who's even more culturally in tune with it, listen to Sterling Harjo on the Mark Maron podcast. That's one of my Pandempicks, along with Reservation Dogs, which, again, a great show showing representation of people just as they are. And I loved it. I can't say enough. It was filmed, I believe, because Sterling's from Tulsa, and you know somebody who said that it was filmed around Tulsa as well, who were trying to get on the show. I also saw it was filmed in Okmulgee, which I swear I recognized one of the buildings, and then when I found out it was in Okmulgee, I was like, oh, it had to be. It had to be. So I thought that was pretty cool, too. And then native Oklahomans. Like, the cast is great. Like, the kids are wonderful. I love them. But then some native Oklahomans, like Mike and Funny
Bone.
Yeah, Funny Bone. Otherwise known as Mike Bone. And like, these guys have been around Oklahoma a long time. They've been doing hip hop. Like, I remember seeing them around Midwest City like all the time. Like, and I think at one time they had, and if they might still have, like, the Mike Bone car. Did you ever see them driving around in that car? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, it has the graphics on it. I'm pretty sure that I saw that, and driving around, and it was pretty cool. And I met them a couple times. I'm sure they don't remember me at all, but we're trying to get them on the show too. But they are like the comedic element of the show, and they just killed it. They killed it. They were so funny. What do you? I mean, you agree, right? You have to.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Because I would say
it cracked me up every single time anytime that they would leave, they would be singing their song. Not all the time.
Yeah,
but it was just hilarious.
They have some great songs. Like, you can get on iTunes, and they're available on there. They got an album with one of my favorite songs, which was Fry Bread Snackin'. I even had to go to their website and get my own Fry Bread Snackin' shirt, which you should go check them out, MikeBoneMedia.com, and then check out some of their music at MikeBoneMedia.com/audio, and they're on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify. But yeah, Little Mike and Funny Bone, they were great. And and then they put out a song last year, a single. And it's really good. It's very it has like great message to it, because there was like a movie, and I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up because I'm sure we're going to talk about this again. But there was a movie that came out a while back where I learned about the fact that, like, a lot of these women who are on the reservations, like, go missing, and nobody ever does anything to find them. Like, it's really sad.
There's actually a movie about that.
Yeah, that's the one
with Wanda. I can't. Elizabeth Olsen.
That's the one. That's the one. Like something.
And Jeremy Renner.
Yeah. That's the one. That one.
Yeah, I saw that
a few years ago.
That movie?
Few years.
Yeah, because I was in New York when I saw that movie. I was like, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then that movie they're filming in Pawhuska. That one is not. It's about the older days, like I think the 20s or whatever. But I read the book, and it's about, like, oh man, I can't remember the name of the tribe. I don't think they were Pawhuskans, but anyway, like, oh no, dang, are they Osage? Because that's the name of the book. Is like, anyway, don't let me mess all this up. But they had made so much oil money off of this land that they were forced onto that ended up having oil, and so they had the rights, the mineral rights. They made so much money that they had white servants and white drivers driving them around, and so it kind of made other people jealous, and then the government and other people kind of because the way the government, like these were grown people with their own money that they were putting under like a conservatorship under their money, because of course they won't know how to spend all that money, right? And so they had to fight against that. They were being murdered by people that would come in and marry them to get their money and then kill them. Yeah, sad. But so anyway, the reason I brought that up was the song that they did is called Fist in the Air. And so I really enjoyed it, and it has like a good meaning to it too. So yeah, you should check them out, Lil Mike and Funny Bone. But again, like, have you met them? Because you worked for Wild. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, they're cool guys. And they were on America's Got Talent, right? Mm-hmm. I think
they've been on TMZ too, so we have that connection.
Oh yeah. Well, I reached out to them, and we are efforting an interview with them, so we can look forward to that.
Sweet.
All right, Cameo, you said you had one more Pandempicks before we get on out of here.
Yes. As you know, I love karate, kung fu movies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it came out this year. I'm not sure when, but it's on Netflix. It's called The Paper Tigers.
Oh, I think I saw something about that. Was there like a synopsis?
Huh?
A synopsis?
Oh, basically,
I said synopsis, but I meant synopsis.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? So basically, it's like the three ninjas. They are something happens to their sensei. I don't want to, go too far into it. And basically, they're going around to find out what happened. So yeah, gotcha. But they're all older now. Actually, not sensei, because that's karate. They're Sifu.
Wait, it's the Three Ninjas? Like it's a sequel to the Three Ninjas?
No.
Okay. You said
no. I'm just saying it's kind of like the Three Ninjas, but grown up.
Got you.
But yeah. So basically, it's a kung fu movie. So go watch that. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Right on, man. Well, that's our Pandempicks for the week. We will be back. We try to do it weekly, so we'll try to be back next week.
Yep.
Got a new what if.
We're back in the swing of things.
Yeah, all of that. So.
Or, what if we don't come back?
Oh, what if? I love it. Well, I'm out of here, Cameo.
But anyways, remember, keep it nerdy, baby.
Smile and put on a happy face.
Wakanda forever!
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
That was awesome!
Freeze all motor functions.